first ever virtual meeting and our elections and the installation ceremony all at the same time. This is the first time we've ever tried anything like this, and so far we look really good. So I'm going to let Billy take it over for just a minute, and then I'm going to come right back.
Thank you, Beverly. Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Dr. Koren. Thank you for being with us today, our esteemed guests. My name is Billy Jones. I am the director of our website, and I would like to provide us a few ground rules in how we will facilitate our conversation today. Firstly, as a speaker speaks, he or she will be provided the opportunity to unmute your mic. So all of your mics will remain muted until it is time to speak. You yourself can unmute your mic at any time, and I can control your mic at any time from here. But for the sake of the flow and clear communication, all mics will be muted until it's time for someone to speak. Secondly, when it is time for our elections today, I have made a list, and I would like to thank Holly for providing, as always, the comprehensive list of members. I've reviewed that list, and as you were waiting in the waiting room, I looked at the list to confirm eligibility of all voters. So anyone at the time, when it is time, and if needed, it's time to cast a vote, you will receive an electronic ballot that will appear magically on your screen. And all you will have to do is click your selection for the respective candidate so listed. Again, we will only use that electronic ballot in the event if we have a position that is contested, meaning we have more than one candidate who is voting. Other than that, if no one is running for a role, we can do a vote of acclamation by proxy of the secretary of our organization or an elected member who will cast a vote in our honor. So we'll do that using parliamentary procedure. And then lastly, for those attendees who are non-members, when it is time to vote, I'll kindly place you back in my waiting room. So that way you're able to just hang out there. I can message you, I can talk to you privately. It's the same space you were in when you first arrived here. Before you could arrive in, you had to sit in the living room. I'll place you back in the living room for that brief moment, so that way we're able to tally votes and ensure that all who are eligible are qualified to vote. And then lastly, if there are any questions at any time, you can unmute your mic, or you can use the chat feature at the bottom of your screen. There's a chat word. You can chat with me or any member in the group at any time. I'm going to unmute all mics for a moment. Are there any questions before we begin? Your silence indicates that we may move forward. Thank you very much. Hold on, I'm going to mute all mics. Beverly, count 10 seconds.
Okay, here we go. So I'm going to welcome you again, and thank you for joining us for this auspicious occasion to come together to vote for our board, have our meeting, and the installation ceremony all together. I am so excited for this membership with all the things that we have done this year. Firstly, we've been so blessed to have Dr. Billy Jones hosting us, taking care of us, and otherwise this would not have been possible for you this morning. He's been our website director for over the last few years, and he's brought our organization to great heights in technology, and innovation. Like our first general virtual meeting, and we had poetry readings in virtual, and our author showcase series now. He will be sorely missed when he steps down at the end. I'm not going to cry. At the end of his term in a few weeks. So I'm going to move on because you know how I am. And wait until you meet our keynote speaker this morning, Dr. Justin Koren. He's going to be on later in the program. We are immensely pleased to have him here as our guest today. And thank you, Dr. Koren, for being such a good sport and willing to share in on our festivities on Zoom. It's unprecedented for everyone, but I appreciate it. Thank you. And you know, I started to say how sorry I am for having to hold our most important meeting of the year on Zoom today. but realized what a great opportunity this presents. All of our members from all over, near and far, are going to be on this call today. Not only that, but our friends, our guests, our families who don't normally get to sit in on our meeting or any of our meetings or our elections are all on this Zoom call today. So we're really going to have a lot of fun with it. And they'll share in on the fun of the virtual elections of the Board of Directors of the South Florida Writers Association. I'm very proud of our Board of Directors. Sorry, I'm getting messages here. I know I say this all the time, but all we are and all we do at the South Florida Writers Association depends heavily on the timeless efforts of our Board of Directors. I'm going to call off their names so that you will know who they are. Usually I have them stand, but if you want to stand, you can stand. Our Vice President, Jeffrey Dorn. Our Treasurer, Evelyn Benson. Our Secretary, Don Daniels. Our Director of Conferences, Rocio Vargas. Our Program Director, Jonathan Rose. Our Membership Director, Holly White. Our Community Relations Director, Connie Goodman Malone. Our Public Relations Director, Madeline Golden. I'm sorry, I'm coming here. Our Contest Director, Jeffrey Dorn. Our Director of Publication, John Labriola. Our Director of Website, Billy Jones. Our Directors at Large, Ricky Dorn and Glenn Patron. So that is your Board of Directors, and I wanted you to meet everyone. And I'm giving you a round of applause, even though there you go. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. There's something for everyone at the South Florida Writers Association. I'm excited that so many of our members are joining in on our meetings, our poetry readings, our fun-filled events like the Miami Book Fair, our critique groups, our new virtual author showcase series, and our writing contest. And speaking of the writing contest, without further ado, I'd like to begin today's program by turning it over to our Vice President and Contest Director, Jeffrey Dorn.
Jeffrey, I don't see you.
I don't see him.
I don't see him in our queue. If he's not here quite yet, we may want to pause or move forward just a moment with the agenda. I don't see him registered. He hasn't registered it yet.
Okay.
I'll reach out.
I spoke with him this morning.
I'll reach out to him as you talk.
Okay. He's going to do, well, Jeffrey has the writing contest results, and he also has the nominations. He's going to read the slate. I spoke with him this morning, so he was coming on, so I don't know if they have an issue. Okay, so, well, we're sort of at a stall here, but just,
no problem.
Just
it's fine. It's fine. Making he's well.
Okay.
Don't worry.
So how many of our members that are on our call right now are from out of the area and have never attended one of our meetings?
I've unmuted all members.
You can raise your hand. I'm sorry, you can go ahead. Either raise your hand, or if you want to say something, that's fine too. I'm just so excited to see everyone that we don't normally get to see. And I'm so delighted that we get to do this where we're live with everyone, because that usually never happens. I think this is the coolest thing ever.
Beverly, just so that you know, Jeffrey is joining us currently. He's connecting.
Okay, thank you.
838-477.
There he is. Oh, you're the star of the show.
All right. Okay. Wow, that was rough.
Jeffrey, before you start speaking, let me mute all members and then I'll unmute you, okay? So that'll give you a chance to get settled. So count 20 seconds.
Okay.
Jeffrey, you can unmute your mic. I'm trying to do it and it's not letting me. Try it on your end. Perfect.
Okay, I'm all right.
Thank you. You're ready.
Oh. Ah,
You may begin.
okay. Am I starting with the winners of the contest
Yes.
for this month?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, the contest for this. Okay, the contest for this month was the military, stories or articles concerning the military, and the winners are as follows. For the genre of short story, second place, a story called Invasion, Elio Martinez. Congratulations. For short story first place, a story called Reveille, Reveille, Adele Royce, first place. Thank you so much. Excellent. For the genre of memoir, a very heartfelt story called The Sailor, Dale Allen Young, first place. Congratulations. For the genre of essay, second place, an essay entitled Waging Peace, Pat Bonner Malone. Congratulations. For the genre of essay, one second here, an essay called Perspectives on Women Who Stayed Home, Gail Tucker Griffith, first place. And for the genre of poetry, a piece called A Field of Red Poppies, first place, Swati Baga. The Special Merit Award, memoir, The Sailor, Dale Allen Young. And this award carries with it the Maria Teresa Thaler, considered the most beautiful coin ever minted. Congratulations to all of our winners for this month. I have sent copies of the certificates to John Labriola, and I believe he will send them to the winners and they can take self-pictures with the certificates for the author's voice. The contest for this month, the month of June, will be on the theme Plagues and Epidemics. This could be anything from the stories in the Decameron to Defoe's Journal of the Plague Year, to comical stories or poetry or anything of that sort. Plagues and epidemics certainly should be a current topic. Thank you so much for the participation of all the people that sent work. You have all month to send it. Just make sure that I have the pieces at least 3 days before the meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff. Beverly, you can unmute your mic.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. And now I'm going to call on Jeff again. I'd like to present our nominations committee chair, Vice President Jeffrey Dorn.
The nominations committee shows a full slate of proposed officers, 14 positions, and I will read the list as it was submitted. We asked this month if anyone had additional nominations or wished to nominate themselves, that they contacted me. I have not received any contacts, but we will be open now this morning if anyone has any additional nominations. The nominations as we have at this moment, let me read it just to make sure that my list is matching everyone else's. For President, Beverly Malassi Haig. For Vice President and Contest Director, Jeff Dorn. Treasurer, Evelyn Benson. Secretary, Don Daniels. Director of Programs, Jonathan Rose. Director of Membership, Holly White. Director for Public Relations, Madeline Goldman. Director of Community Relations, Connie Goodman Malone. Director of Publication, John Labriola. Director of Conferences, Conference, Rosia Vargas Herrera. Director of Website, Luz Agudelo. Director at Large, Ricky Dorn. Director at Large, Pedro Figueroa. Director at Large, Zorina Fry. If anyone at this time has an additional nomination, please signify by raising your hand on your device. You'll notice a device.
Jeff, they can also speak. All your mics are unmuted. Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
All mics are muted. Are there any nominations or self-nominations for any position that has been previously presented?
Yes, I would like to run for new membership. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, repeat that again, Koren.
Oh, okay. Sometimes my microphone is a little bit choppy.
Repeat it again.
I said sometimes my microphone is a little bit choppy, but I would like to run for director of new membership.
Thank you, Karina. I've written down, Jeff, I made a list of all those as well.
Okay. Are there
Thank
any
you.
other nominations? Billy, do you see any hands?
Jeff,
That's Don.
Jeff,
Yes.
are there any positions that are vacant?
No, there are no positions that are vacant at this point. We have 14 positions and we have now 15 nominations.
Okay,
We have 2 nominations for membership. Okay. Okay, there are no more nominations? Okay, then at this point, all of the positions have 1 nomination except for director of membership, 2, Korea.
I think Serena's trying to say something, Jeff. Serena?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, can you nominate other people who are already on the, who already have a position?
So the key how it works, Serena, is yes, if you can nominate yourself or someone else, if you self-identify, then there needs to be no confirmation of the nomination because you speak yourself. But if you, let's say if you wanted to nominate me for something, then I would have to accept.
Okay. Well then, I think people should consider Billy for membership.
membership?
Thank you, Serena.
Okay, does-
I appreciate that, but I kindly decline.
Are there any other nominations?
Billy Jones for any position on this board.
That's
Honestly.
basically it.
I appreciate the love, but I kindly decline. I am an active member who will be serving in every committee that you all have to support. I have a number of things that are coming.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
Require my more immediate attention. I recently was elected to vice president of the college's faculty senate. And so it's creating a lot of required work in these interesting times. And I had to make a last minute decision that was best. And so, but I'm still an active member. I'll be working behind the scenes to help with all the tech stuff that you need and support anyhow, and any projects that you have as well.
I second that.
Great.
Thank you.
Are there any other nominations at this point? Okay, then at this point, I'll close the nominations. Billy, tell us how we do the voting.
Thank you. So we have election positions. We have uncontested positions for most of the positions. The only exception is the director of membership. We have two candidates, Holly White and Karina Schmidt. So what we should do first is, if we could go ahead and it's common courtesy, each candidate should be provided an opportunity, if she wishes, to speak or say a few words on her behalf. We would give that opportunity of just about 3 minutes for each candidate to deliver if she wishes. And then afterwards, we can move to the vote. But in the meantime, what we can do for the other positions, because they are uncontested, those are easy and don't require an electronic ballot. So what I could do is run through the list as we would do face-to-face, Jeff, with you as well for each position. And then our secretary, who currently is Don, he can cast a vote. We'll do a motion. There'll be an official motion in a second to go ahead and move to require the secretary to cast a vote on behalf for a vote of acclamation. So that'll make it faster. So we can take first, let's take each position in order. That'd probably be best. So that way we don't have to move any of our non-members who can vote. I'd rather leave that afterwards, so that way we're able to keep it running smoothly, okay? So we'll take every position minus membership director to give those candidates due diligence to speak if she wishes. And then we'll do the electronic vote. And I can move the individuals who are ineligible to vote to the waiting room just that one time. Does that make sense, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So we can
just not vote, because I don't know what to
So
tell
all of your mics are unmuted, so please be silent until we are done with the business, because I want you all to chime in if you have questions, okay? So we will start with president first. President for 2020-21 is Beverly Malassi Hagg. And since Beverly is the solo candidate, we will need a motion from the floor to allow the secretary, Don, to cast a vote on behalf of the body to give the official election result for Beverly. So is there a motion at this time?
Yes.
I can do it. I move to ask our secretary to cast a vote on behalf of Beverly Malassi Hagg to represent the general body for position of president. Is it properly seconded?
I
Second.
second.
I second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
No.
We'll move it to a vote. All those in favor of approving this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All opposed, same sign.
This is crap. I don't want more feelings.
Well, and after the election, there's a meeting.
All opposed, same sign. Please be silent, please.
So quickly.
Those abstaining? Thank you. It passes. Beverly is our president for the 2020-21 year. We're going to do this for each candidate until we get to the membership, where we'll have to do an electronic vote, okay? So bear with us if you will, please. Your mics are unmuted, so please try to be silent to avoid background interference. For vice president for 2021 is Jeffrey Dorn. I move to make a motion for our secretary to cast the voting ballot on behalf of Jeff to represent the general body as vote of acclamation for vice president of SFWA. Is it properly seconded?
Yeah.
Thank you. And Don, I'm under the impression that your vote is included, okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, it's been seconded. Any discussion?
No.
We'll move it to a vote. All those in favor of approving this motion to elect Jeff by vote of acclamation by our secretary, please say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Those abstaining, congratulations, Jeffrey Dorn.
Thank you.
Our next position is treasurer. Our candidate is Evelyn Benson. I move to elect election by vote of proxy by secretary on behalf of the body, vote of acclamation to elect her as our treasurer for 2021. Is it properly seconded?
Yes.
I second it.
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion?
No.
We'll move it to the vote. All those in favor of approving Evelyn as our treasurer for 2021, vote of acclamation, please say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Those abstaining. Thank you. Congratulations, Evelyn. For secretary for our 2021 year, we have Mr. Don Daniels, our secretary. And since he is our current secretary, well, at this point, I don't think it would matter because his vote still counts all the same. So he can cast the vote on behalf of the body. So I'll go ahead and make the motion to move that Don Daniels be elected for secretary for 2021 fiscal year and vote of acclamation by himself to validate that vote. Is it properly seconded?
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion?
No.
Thank you. We'll move it to the vote. All those in favor of approving this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Those abstaining, congratulations, Mr. Don Daniels as secretary. Now to director of programs. Our candidate is Mr. Jonathan Rose. Jonathan's role and position is uncontested, so I move to elect Don by vote of acclamation by our secretary to elect him as official director of programs for the next year. Is it properly seconded? Thank you. Any discussion, I assume? There is none. We'll move it to the vote. All those in favor of approving this motion to elect Don by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Those abstaining, congratulations, Jonathan Rose as director of programs.
You okay with me?
As stated, we will hold for our director of membership. We have two candidates, so we will skip over to our director of public relations. We have Madeline Goldman as our candidate. I move to elect Madeline as our PR director by vote of acclamation via our secretary. That is my motion. Is it properly seconded?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, with enthusiasm.
And I assume there will be no discussion, but I still have to ask it. No discussion?
Right.
Well, go ahead and move it to the vote. All those in favor of approving Madeline as our director.
Aye.
Those abstaining? No, all opposed? Excuse me. And those abstaining. Congratulations, Madeline. Next on our list is Director of Community Outreach and Community Relations, excuse me, and that is Miss Connie Maloney. She is our sole candidate, so I'd like to cast a motion or make a motion. I move to elect her by vote of acclamation via our secretary for the position of Director of Community Relations. Is it properly seconded?
I second it.
Thank you, Jonathan. Any discussion? We'll move it to the vote. All those in favor of this motion to elect Connie by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Those abstaining, congratulations, Connie Maloney.
Hey.
For Director of Publications, we have Mr. Jonathan I always get his name wrong, he will kill me. Labriola. Did I say
That's
that?
That's right.
And so Jonathan is running for re-election. I move to elect him by vote of acclamation via secretary on behalf of the body as our public director of publications. Is it properly seconded?
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. Any discussion?
Nope.
Seeing there is none, we'll move it to the vote. All those in favor of approving this motion to elect John by acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All opposed, same sign. Those abstaining, congratulations, John, as our returning director of publications. Our next position, thank you for bearing with us, folks, but we're moving quite well. Our next position is the director of conferences. And also that includes, as you are aware, our virtual, if not face-to-face showcases of authors. Our candidate is Rocio Vargas Herrera. Our sole candidate, I'd like to make a motion to approve our secretary to cast a vote of acclamation on behalf of the body to elect her in this position. Is it seconded?
Second.
Thank you very much. I see a couple. Thank you, sir. We'll move, no discussion. We'll move it to the vote. All those in favor of approving this motion to elect Rocio as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All opposed, same sign. Those abstaining, congratulations, Rocio. For our director of website, I do not see her here on the list, but she did self-identify a month ago. Our candidate is Luz Agudelo. She was one of our authors during our first authors along with Pedro for our virtual showcase last month. I move to elect Luz Agudelo as director of our website by vote of acclamation via our secretary, the proxy vote. Is it properly seconded?
Second.
Thank you very much. Discussion?
No.
The vote. All those in favor of electing Luz in this position as director of our website, please say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Those abstaining, congratulations, Luz Agudelo, as our new director of website. Moving forward, it's our directors at large. We will start first with Miss Ricky Dorn. I move to elect Ricky Dorn as director at large through vote of acclamation via our secretary, who will cast the vote on behalf of the body. Is it properly seconded?
I second.
Thank you. I will ask its discussion.
Nope.
The vote. All those in favor of electing Ricky Dorn as stated in the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And those abstaining, congratulations, Ricky Dorn. Next is our director at large, Mr. Pedro Figueroa. Pedro is, I cast a vote on behalf, a motion. I move to elect Pedro in the position of director at large through vote of acclamation by our secretary on behalf of the body. Is it properly seconded?
Second.
Second.
Thank you very much, Elio and team. In discussion? The vote. All those in favor of this motion to approve Pedro a vote of acclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Those abstaining, congratulations, Pedro, in your new role. And lastly is Ms. Zarina Frey. Ms. Zarina Frey is running for director at large for our board. And I cast a motion, I move to ask our secretary to cast the acclamation vote on behalf of the body to elect Zarina Frey as our director at large.
I second.
I second.
Thank you very much. Any discussion? The vote. All those in favor of approving this motion to elect Zarina by acclamation as listed, please say aye.
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 Thank you very much. And Don, I'm getting the count. You're good. All opposed, same sign. Those abstaining. Congratulations, Serena.
Yay.
So we've completed all of the positions that had single candidates. We're now going to move back to the Director of Membership. And in keeping in this, as stated previously, here's how this will work. First, I'm going to move all candidates who are ineligible, which I've already done for the most part, but I'm going to see if I need to move anyone, and I don't have to identify you. I can just do it without saying. So any candidate who or present attendees who are ineligible to vote, I'm going to kindly move you to my waiting room as we conduct this electronic vote on your screens. In a few moments, you're going to see a ballot that will pop up on the screen. That is after each candidate has presented, given the elected option to speak if she wishes. And then you will receive that ballot, and then you will see the tally live on the screen when the time comes. And I'll give the final results after that point. But first, what we want to do is make sure everyone is removed as such. I'm cleaning my list. Dr. Koren, thank you for your patience, sir. I'm going to move you back to our waiting room just for a moment, okay?
No problem at all. Thank you.
So Dr. Koren is in our waiting room. Hold on one second. I'm running down my list. We're good. I caught everything else. So we are ready to go. Everyone who is present is eligible. And I thank you, Holly, for this awesome list that you provided. It really worked out well. All right. So here's how we will do it. Each candidate is given the option to speak. I think it's best that we go in alphabetical order to give each candidate an opportunity to speak. So Karina, last name is Schmidt, and Holly, last name is White, will go second. Karina, you will go first. I will keep time. You will have 3 minutes. If it goes over a few minutes, we won't have a problem, but 3 minutes maximum to, pitch if you wish. This is optional. So if candidates do not wish to do this, she has the right to decline kindly, but that should not reflect your decision to vote. Keep that in mind, candidates and colleagues in the room. So Karina, what we're going to do is go ahead and give you the time. You cue me when you're ready to speak. First, would you like to speak?
Yes.
Okay, you let me know when you're ready, okay?
I'm ready.
Go for it. The time starts.
All right, thank you very much. Well, I would like to run for Director of Membership because I think I have a lot of things to offer the organization. I've been a member for about a year now, and I've seen some great things that are working for the organization, but also a couple of things that I think I can contribute with to improve our membership outreach, such as my extensive networking that I'm part of. I'm a member of a lot of different organizations. I get in contact with lots of people through my job as a publisher, but also through schools and such as, South Dade Chamber of Commerce that I'm a member of, other organizations where I can reach out to people and where I often, regularly before the shutdown, encountered people that are either in the process of writing a book or they already have one out. And those are members that I would like to, actively introduce to the organization. The other thing that I can help with is that my company, Sophie Publishing House, is going to have a commercial on selected Comcast channels very soon. I'm actually just waiting for the schedule to be released to me. And through that, I'm able to introduce contacts, people that I can get in contact with to the organizations. And, I have the know-how to implement new technology where we can more effectively and creatively reach our members with informations and opportunities, marketing resources that I come across, as well as exposing their books, which I think is one thing that as a new member, when I came on board, I don't think we really give new members enough opportunity to introduce their books, which is something I think I can help with. And also help with training and marketing resources. Marketing is very important when it comes to your book. One thing is to write it. Another thing is to get it out there and exposed to the public. If the public doesn't know about it, they're never going to buy it.
Koren, you have 30 seconds.
Thank you. And through these resources that I have, it provides me with the tools to, you know, introduce new members to the organization, talk about the organization in engagements that I'm involved in. And that's my pitch.
Thank you very much, Karina, for your presenting your platform. Are there any questions from the general body for Karina before we proceed?
I have a question. Are you willing to do all the paperwork and keep all the lists and reminding people to pay their dues? You know, that's part of the responsibility.
Right. It's my understanding that the list is currently kept, I think, on Excel, and I think there are some ways that we can implement to make it more effective, and set up a reminder that can help the organization bring in these fees as well. I think there are more effective ways of doing it than what I'm understanding is currently being done.
Would you mind giving us one example of what one of those more effective ways might be?
Well, right now, our membership is run by the date that you were introduced or became a member, right? If we set a system that reminds us of that, and that's actually possible through website resources and stuff that we can use, then it'll become a much easier task to use. Some of these tools I used back when I was a mortgage broker to remind myself of, you know, when people's birthdays are, or, you know, new campaigns that are going on. And it's just a matter of using technology instead of old-fashioned, for example, you know, the Office package to do these functions through.
Okay.
Any final questions?
Just a comment.
I heard a voice. Go ahead. Who is that, Jonathan?
Yes.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hi. How are you doing? We've standardized the membership after many years and after many arguments. We finally standardized, and I think that's good.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Now, Holly.
So what Jonathan was saying was everyone's renewal date for dues is the same.
Yes.
Correct.
Therefore, an electronic tickle file would be less needed.
Any final questions? Thank you, Karina, for your.
Here, if I can add one thing to it, here's what I think it would be much easier to work with, and something that I've discussed with a couple of people, and that is that if we prorate our members and standardize that system so that it only takes place once a year instead of having to reach out to people at various times of the year to renew them, that would be an improvement and much easier in terms of outreach. And
yes,
you can use
that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
That's in the process now.
Yeah.
So, but I see some of the newsletters that are coming out, and I just think there's an easier way that I can help with to get in contact with the members, both those that are actively showing up to meetings and those that are more dormant.
Thank you, Karina, again, for your platform and for presenting and for the questions from our audience as well. Well, go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and mute you, or you can mute yourself, Karina, if you wish. Or you can, no, don't unmute because everyone else is unmuted. So just sit tight. Holly, we provide the same opportunity for you if you'd like to speak.
When I took over the position of the membership chair, I took the job, if you want to call it that, very, very seriously. And I did make a lot of changes at first, and I think that a lot of people felt that those changes were not the right changes. However, I've carried on from there, and I have every single day contacted members and non-members through the internet. When there's questions about whatever it is, I get emails all the time from people who want information about whatever. And I answer them immediately. There's never a lag. If there's a lag, it's maybe a day. So I have kept up to date to everything. As far as changing the due date, where everybody is due at a different time or at the day that they joined, it's extremely labor intensive to try to keep track of who is due when, and then to also to attempt to make everybody's every month different as far as the dues are concerned is also extremely labor intensive. I have done the very best that I know how in trying to keep track of everyone. And I think I have a method that's being used that's very simple. Maybe that isn't what everyone thinks it should be, but it's a very simple, workable system that I'm using. And I was privileged to be in this position. And if you vote me in, I, again, am privileged to be in this position. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Any questions from the audience for Holly?
I have a question for Holly.
Yes.
Holly, you said that you had this position before. Why would you want this position again?
Well, why do I want it again?
Yes.
Well, because I have in fact worked out a system that I find to be very easy to use on a daily basis by trial and error. So I find that it's not as time consuming as it was to begin with, because I have set up, if you want to call it, bookkeeping system that is very compatible with what time I have to devote to this.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yes, Connie speaking. It's important that the membership director is a very important face of the association for South Florida writers, and that you'll be a member of the board and you'll be contributing, you'll be voting, and we're a very important team. So this role is extremely important, and Holly, you've served us very well, and whichever one of you gets this position in the coming year, just know that you are just an important team member and then some. Thank you.
Thank you. Evelyn?
Thank you, Billy. Actually, my question will be for both. I just realized that there's a conflict of interest maybe, and how will either one address this? Feel free to answer, Karina or Holly. The membership and prospect database is crucial to our organization. I know that Softly is in the marketing, author marketing, and book publishing business. How will you balance the ethical issue of not using this information for your business and kept it proprietary for the association? Because we're talking of prospects, guests who have attended the meetings, and current members who may or may not be into book publishing or who may have other options for book marketing.
Understandable.
I could speak to that. As you know, I have no business. I have no interest in building a business in any way, shape, or form. My interest is in building our South Florida Writers Association. And I think all of my letters or comments or anything are in that direction. They're not to, it's not for my gain at all, ever. That's where I'm coming from. I mean, I'm coming from trying to sell, if you want to call it sell, South Florida Writers Association.
Bunch of crap.
What?
There's hold on, Holly. There's background interference. I have all your mics muted, so please kindly nudge it into the backdrop, please.
Okay, I would just like to say that.
Hold on 1 second, please. 1 second, if you don't mind. I think Karina wanted to respond as well. Holly, you were done, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Holly. Karina?
Yes, I think it's a very good question that you're asking, Evelyn, and I appreciate that, and I can understand your concern. Understand also that with my profession, I'm a member of different organizations, and I am very well capable of keeping these matters apart and focusing on just, you know, when I'm out talking to people, if they are in the process of writing a book, of course, I'm going to introduce them to the organization.
They can't hear me.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear someone else.
Oh, okay. I mean, the way I was introduced to South Florida Writers Association was by Dwayne that works at the post office that I use regularly. And, you know, you have to be able to balance what you do professionally as well as what you're doing for an organization. The fact that I am a publisher can have advantages for members if they're interested, but my primary goal as a membership director of the organization will be, of course, to get more members and to get them introduced to the organization and what we have to offer. You know, it's not to sell Sophie Publishing House. If they ask questions about it, of course, I'm going to answer it. Anybody would. But I do have resources to get in touch with more members.
Thank you, Karina. There was a question. There was a question for you for either of you, the top left, and we have 2 minutes left on questions, folks, so we can close to the vote. Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay. I'm Holly.
Hi, Holly.
I was been a member for like many years, but I don't live in town anymore. So I just would like to say that it seems like whoever gets this position, Sophie, you say that you are a new, a relatively new member of the organization, and I would hope that whoever, if in fact Holly retains the position, that you would offer your information. And I don't know if there could be a member committee or not. It's in the past we've had committees, so that would be something. And then perhaps you sound like you have a lot of information, and it would be wonderful for the organization to receive that from you, no matter what happens.
Sure.
I have a question. Maybe there are guidelines that we can review and enhance, because there are greater use in this area, and that publishing is what everybody who comes into the organization is trying to do, but there might be a parameter by which we prevent the overlapping and conflict of interest. So I don't know, but that's a legal question, I think, which of course, if she wants to be a member and do that, she would just have to keep within those parameters.
And if I could respond to that, if I could respond on behalf, for each member, that is something that that I was going to present to the board as an outgoing member, because we all have affiliations with all organizations. Right. And so, looking at a waiver or disclaimer, a statement of agreement that we would agree to, I agree with you, a waiver of sorts or a form that each board member would sign to ensure the integrity of that. I think that it's only fair for all positions, not just this one.
Right.
Thank you, Jeannie. And Holly, you wanted to finally respond, last comment?
My final response is this. if the board feels, or not the board, the members of the South Florida Writers Association feel that it's better to have a professional like Sophie Publishing House representative, then I'm hoping that if that in fact happens, that she does not use her company to sell South Florida Writers Association.
I have one more
We have
question.
we have a marketing person, we have a website person, we have a lot of people to do that kind of advertising, if you want to call it that. And I don't feel that the membership chair should be responsible for marketing other than trying to touch as many members and prospective members as possible.
Right, I have a question.
Can I say something?
Hold on one second, folks. Hold on. Keep in mind, we have Dr. Koren who is waiting in the queue for us to return. So I want to give an opportunity. I think Karina wanted to say something, and then we need to move forward. Karina?
Well, I just wanted to say that I don't want Holly to perceive my petition or my self-nomination for the position as a critique at all of what she has done. I don't have any critique of what she has done. I mean, in my profession, I work with a lot of resources and a lot of technology that I think I can contribute with. And that's really all it is.
Billy, can I say something?
So there was a comment before. I think Jeannie, Rocio, hold on. Jeannie, then Rocio, then Rhino.
Okay, mine was, are you a partner in Sophie Publishing? Is it your company?
It is my company, yeah. My name is actually Karina. It's not Sophie.
Karina Schmidt.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, it's Karina Schmidt.
Okay.
Sophie Publishing House is the name of the corporation. And with many of the meetings that I go to through, for example, Chamber of Commerce, I do come in contact with people, not so much right now while we're on shutdown, but there are lots of meetings through the Chamber of Commerce where you meet people that are like, oh, I'm into poetry, or, you know, I have a children's book that, you know, that I'd like to get into bookstores. Well, we have a really great setup with Books to Books. I mean, I'm one of the authors that presented at their event in January, and I think what we have set up through that is great. And it's something that I can help, you know, with new people that I meet to introduce to South Florida Writers Association and give them an opportunity to, you know, get their book out at, for example, you know, the Miami book fair. I was part of that this year, and I thought it was great that, you know, everybody had an opportunity, if they wanted it, to put their book there rather than having to pay for a very expensive stall themselves or booth themselves.
Okay, Karina.
Hold on one second. Steve,
with all due respect.
Steve, hold on. Steve, there was Rocio. Okay, hold on.
I would just wanted to say that we all have lives outside the association. And there are a lot of people in the association that with their real lives also work somewhere within the genre of writing, whether it be editing, whether it be advertising, whether it be publishing, that everyone within the organization, it's just not just writers only. There are many, many genres within the association that are benefiting one way or another, each member, because when you become a member of an association, it's to benefit your craft, just like the Bar Association, just like the Builders Association, just like any accounting firm. You join an association to see what is the benefit to you. So I really do not believe that if we should put ourselves into a situation where, oh, well, so-and-so shouldn't be here because they have this, this is the real life, or they shouldn't do this because they have this. Like, as I said, we have editors, we've got publishers, we've got translators, we've got many, many people who have real lives, and obviously they are providing a service to the association to the members with their knowledge. So I don't see where this would be a hindrance, number one. Number two, if you want, we can do a disclosure, but everyone in the association, one way or another, works. Some charge for their services outside the membership and others do not. It is up to the individual on how they want to do it. But the idea is you are providing a service, whether, again, I reiterate, editing, translating, publishing.
I think
everyone has something to offer for this association.
I think we should.
Hold on one second.
We should end conversation.
Okay. Hold on one second, Jonathan.
We have a speaker.
Yes, we do. Steve, you're the last question.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to say that we're going way out of bounds with this conversation, okay? This is basically not a marketing job. It's a paperwork job. It's an administrative job. It's a grinding, difficult job, and Holly has done it really, really well. Also, I would like to say to Karina, God bless you. You don't have to be membership chair to invite people to join the organization. With all your work out there, you can refer people to the organization anytime, okay?
Absolutely.
You don't have to be membership chair to do that.
I don't disagree.
Okay. And I would like to say also that we need to stop this conversation. It's going nowhere. Let's vote.
Vote.
Thank you all for your comments. We do need to move it for the press of time. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna place the poll on your screen and you're gonna see the vote, the notice in a second. Give me 1 second. It's launching. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay. The poll has been released on your screen.
I don't see anything.
You should see a poll.
It will pop up because with both names, you just have to choose and submit.
That's it.
It's a 1 minute thing.
And if you're not receiving it, you can message me as well in the chat line privately.
How do I do that, Billy?
Who is speaking?
I don't see anything.
Hold on, is that Holly in the top left? Hi, Holly. You see at the bottom, are you on your phone?
I don't have any problem. I voted already.
Oh, okay, you're good.
It's Colleen.
Hi, Colleen.
I don't see anything on my computer.
Okay, so in your gallery view, are you on speaker view or in the top right on your screen? Can you see all of us talking at one time? Like all of us little boxes?
No, I see a group chat and I see you.
Okay,
Is there a button I need?
Yeah, and if you're on your laptop, in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you'll see a word that says gallery view or speaker view.
I don't see that. I don't have the app. My computer doesn't let me download the app.
Right, I'm on the computer as well. I'm not using the app. I'm using the web as well.
I don't see that button.
Okay, so go
Is there
ahead.
a way for me to message you?
Can you message me or email me at the moment?
That's fine.
How do I do that?
You
The
can- Go into
message seems to go to everyone.
No, you can email.
No,
just to him.
Just to him. Go to the list and you will see he's
I
the
don't
only
have
one
a
that has
list.
host.
I don't have a list.
But she doesn't have a
Full list. The only thing that I've been able to do is everyone. How do I get this?
When you click everyone, you're gonna see other names pop up.
Hi, can everyone let me
Don't see
speak more?
that anywhere on my computer.
Hold on 1 second. Can we? I'm gonna mute everyone except Colleen. Hold on. Okay, Colleen, this is for you. Can you unmute your mic? Thank you. So Colleen, what I would suggest that you do, can you email me right now, or you have my cell
Do you
number?
have what email do I use?
You can email South Florida Writers, southfloridawriters@gmail.com. I have it open now.
Billy, I just wrote to you by chat, okay? I can't find it either. Yeah.
I don't see that on my email list. I'm not a tech person. I don't have the closed captions, so it's really hard for me to catch what y'all are saying.
Colleen, Colleen, hi. You've emailed me before. You can email me at work as well. Even at bjones4@broward.edu. And let me know when you've done it so that way I have it open.
Okay, I sent it to your Broward.
Thank you. Hold on one second, everyone. Everyone else was able to see the poll, correct? I'm going to unmute all.
No.
Yes.
Who
I
said no?
can't see the poll. Where do I see it?
It popped up right in front of me. On top
no, I already voted.
Oh,
I voted. I got it.
If you did not vote, you should be speaking.
it was easy. That was really great.
But it didn't come to my laptop, so
Yeah.
can I just vote through you, Billy, on chat? I mean,
Yes, you can. I saw it. Yeah, you
Doing
can.
that right now. Okay, I'm sending you my choice here.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Colleen, I got yours.
Awesome.
Okay.
Hang on.
If only voting for the president was as easy.
Okay, I just cast my vote by chat.
Okay, hold on one second. Thank you. I received it, Connie. Excuse me one second. So your final results, folks. And this is, not mass plus or minus the additional votes, because a few of you, quite a number of you were not able to submit, a couple of you were not able to submit. So the numbers, I'll type the final number so you can see it. It was very close. Congratulations. Here it comes.
I can learn to understand you much better if I can get familiar with the way you talk. I need your permission to help.
What was that?
Isn't that the truth?
That was me.
Billy, now you no longer Billy.
My husband and I have that same problem.
Congratulations. Our final winner, including the additional votes that came in, which gives a +1 to Karina, making her 13, Holly to 18. Congratulations, Holly White. And Karina, well done for a campaign, and I say this to you as well as a member, when you're coming in. I came into this board because I was recruited by our president to come into this board, and it's an amazing group of folks. I think all of us deserves the opportunity to showcase ourselves regardless of our affiliations. I just wanted to say thank you for your hard work and your commitment, not only to SFWA as a member, but also for considering that role. And we're looking forward to seeing your contributions.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Holly, in your continued role.
Thank you. I'll try to do a good job.
All right.
It's my part-time job.
I'm gonna bring back Dr. Koren, okay? He's been waiting. Dr. Koren, you're back with us. You can unmute your mic if it's unmuted. And we're going to introduce you formally. I'm going to ask at this time, Mr. Jonathan Rose, our Director of Programs, who will do the introduction of your bio so that before you bring the occasion. Thank you, sir, for your patience. Hold on 1 second, Jonathan. You're muted. Hold on.
Dr. Justin Koren has served the Miami-Dade Public School District for 15 years as both a teacher and school administrator. A proud graduate of the Public School District and a Miami Herald Silver Knight Award winner, he's passionate about education and works tirelessly in support of children from all walks of life. Dr. Koren earned his Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater Arts from Boston University, Master of Science in Education with specialization in Educational Leadership from Nova Southeastern University, and holds certification in Change Leadership from Cornell University. He earned his doctoral degree in Educational Research with specialization in learning environments and student attitudes from Curtin University in Western Australia. And he's also studied at the London Academy for Music and Dramatic Arts. Following the horrific stabbing tragedy at Southwood Middle School, which Dr. Koren had attended, he moved back to Miami from New York City to write and produce Defining Code Red, a stage play that explores the devastating, enduring effects of school violence that pervades long after the media moves on. The critically acclaimed play was heralded as the gutsiest play performed in South Florida by Miami New Times. Dr. Koren has received many accolades for work as a director, playwright, community activist, teacher, and school administrator. He currently serves as assistant principal of Miami Killian Senior High and is a candidate for Miami School Board District 9. I spoke with him for about a half an hour, and I'm excited to introduce our installing officer / speaker, Justin Koren.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate the introduction. Thank you, Billy. I was starting to get a little lonely in the waiting room. I thought you had forgotten about me. So thank you for pulling me out of there.
Dr. Koren, before you begin, let me mute everyone so that you would have the solo audience by voice, okay? Hold on.
Sure.
Count to 20 seconds and you can unmute your own mic, okay?
Okay, thank you. Good morning. I want to thank Beverly. I want to thank all of everybody here at the South Florida Writers Association, all the membership for inviting me this morning to join you at your meeting, at this very important meeting. It's an honor to be here with you. I've been asked to speak, and I know I have about 15 minutes, but I'm going to try to just tell you a little bit about me, about what I guess got me here to speak with you this morning, my journey as a writer, as an educator. And then if we have any time, I think Jonathan said perhaps we'll have some time for some questions at the end. I'm born and raised here in Miami. I attended school throughout South Florida, throughout South Dade, actually District 9, starting, as you had mentioned, Jonathan, at Southwood Middle School, was the first graduating class of Coral Reef Senior. And then after graduating, I moved on to start my education and ultimately my career as a theater person, which is my background. I started at Boston University, studied at London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts. And then after graduating, I started work with Clear Channel Entertainment with Broadway Across America, and ultimately landed a gig in the directing department of The Lion King. And that brought me to work in New York, in Australia, and in London on the West End. So this was my path. This was my idea of what life would be. Working, hold on, I hear a lot of feedback here. Can you hear me okay? So I was working in New York, and in 2004, remember getting a Miami Herald breaking news alert on my email screen that came through, and it was a stabbing had occurred at my middle school, at Southwood Middle School in Palmetto Bay. So for me, this was the start of really a change in what I thought was going to be my path, meaning that I would be staying in New York and continuing this journey of being a theater artist. That had always been my vision, and always been what I thought I was going to do, that I was kind of destined to do. And I found myself, after wrestling with this idea of why was I so struck by learning of the news of this murder that had occurred at my middle school, and I just started seeing these flashes of kind of memories of being in math class and hearing the violins rehearsing around the corner, of just these visualizations of the school that I had spent so much time, and that had excited me and kind of awoken me to what it could be like to be a theater person, to be an artist, to be someone that was going to create. Because the school that I went to was a performing arts center. It was actually the first of its kind in Miami-Dade County, the first magnet school that opened back in the 70s. And so we days later found myself at the airport, at LaGuardia Airport, boarding a plane to come back down here to Miami. Got off the plane, and the first thing I did when I got home and got into my car was, or actually the car that I had left here years ago, I went back to that school. And so starts the story for me of starting to make sense of a tragedy, of somebody on the outside looking in, who would eventually, years later, become someone looking or feeling as though I was in looking out. That led to me getting a job, at first a substitute teacher job, and ultimately a full-time job with the public school system, teaching at Southwood. And that afforded me the opportunity to talk to people. And eventually, about a year and a half into having spoken with people, countless people, over 100 different people, different interviews, basically anybody who would speak to me about their experience with this tragedy. I developed a play called Defining Code Red. It's the story of what happens when the cameras disappear, when the cameras are turned off, and the press moves on, the media moves on. It's the story of the teacher who has both the victim and the perpetrator in their class, or had in their class before this. And what happens when you now have two empty desks? Do you rearrange the configuration? Do you put somebody, now I'm sitting in that person's seat? Or do you do nothing and allow to have maybe like almost a memorial of having two empty desks in the room? So these teachers were wrestling with trying to make sense of just the most simplistic things. Hearing a helicopter would just rush back these emotions and this fear in teachers. And so it became the story of the heroism of what these teachers were going through, what security monitors were going through. The security monitor who rushed into the bathroom and saw a boy on the toilet bleeding to death. I mean, this horrible tragedy of a kid who had been stabbed 42 times throughout the torso, and had his neck slashed from left to right twice, and then left to die by his best friend in a school bathroom during school hours. It was unbelievable. It was the story of that security monitor who now drives home every single day on her lunch break to use the bathroom because she has so much fear of stepping foot into a bathroom, of being afraid to say that I'm experiencing what clearly now we understand as post-traumatic stress disorder, but not understanding that there were resources available for her. You know, it's the story of the straight A student who was socializing all the time, was extroverted, and now suddenly becomes an introvert. And you see their grades suddenly never had before, now, you know, struggling just to get a passing grade in school. So after hearing all of these stories and really over 100 interviews later, I crafted a story which was 10 people, 10 composite characters hiding the real identities of who these people were who had spoken with me, who had entrusted me with their story. And I told the story of what the emotional elements were of storytelling. And so the circumstance for me, I found out in my journey, was really just the vehicle to tell the story. And, you know, like John had said, the play was produced and it was to great review, shockingly. I mean, think about it. You write a play about a murder that happens in a school, and you don't know. I mean, that's not like the uplifting musical of the year. So you really don't know how that's going to be received. But it was received well. And I think it showed me, as I think we've all, I'm sure, have experienced in our own unique ways, the power of being an artist in any form, being a writer, and that power to transport other people to a higher level of understanding. And this is years before Parkland, and this just shows you how relevant it is for me. I mean, I've always kind of been fixated, for lack of a better word, on safety and security and mental health, and the way those two kind of overall entities are intricately connected. And that's always kind of been my thing as a writer and as an educator. But 8 years later, in 2012, the murder at Sandy Hook, with 26 people dying, 20 children between the ages of 6 and 7 years old, the deadliest mass shooting in any primary, secondary school throughout the country. That, for me, set me out on my next journey, which was to create a work of nonfiction on the subject of school violence and the impact that school violence has, and this idea that it strikes where it wants to strike. There's not necessarily a roadmap. And so that for me was very disturbing. And it haunted me from the inside out. The message that I kind of want to deliver to you is this notion that I think sometimes we as writers pick our stories, but also sometimes the story picks us. That was something that I resisted for quite a long time. I wanted to, and I think every story is unique in that, but this story for sure, it was this aha moment that the story, that I was the person that had to tell the story. This is what I had to do, that I wasn't going back to New York, that I was going to be set on this journey that may be a lifelong journey of speaking on this issue and of writing on this issue. The aha moment for me, when I was sitting in court following a case, and I was subpoenaed by the state attorney's office. And I was just a writer. I was just there to watch and to learn and to reflect. But I was almost written into the narrative by the story. And that was a very, very tough realization to make as a writer. One that actually, it was like, again, it's like a 180-degree shift in wondering, am I actually impacting the story that I'm writing by writing it? Somewhere along the line, did the camera turn and now it was facing me? So in the story that I'm writing now, which is titled Residual Insanity, I resisted writing myself into the story. First by putting my feelings in interludes, separating the narrative and then pausing and then kind of reflecting, but ultimately allowing myself to enter the story as an actor, as a character who interacts with the other characters, the other, you know, my background is in theater. So for me, the hardest part of all of this is realizing that you have it all, as I'm sure you guys know, because this is your thing. You know, I'm writing, when I write, it's to write the role of an actor, to write the role, the implication of what a designer at some point will create my set, or the technician will create, you know, the lighting and create a mood. But when you're writing a work of nonfiction, you're having to show it all. And so for me, I really had to dig deep. I am somebody who obsesses over the details when I write. So I've also kind of struggled with knowing when it's time to move on and when it's time to fixate. But I've learned that you need to give yourself the creative freedom to not judge as you write. And I know this is easier said than done, that a lot of us go through this. And I have a lot of friends who are writers in very different domains all over across the board. But for me, to know when it's time to walk away and to know when the idea hits you, you've got to capture it. For me, it's keeping, now I have it on my iPhone, but back when I started over 10 years ago, it was a little recording device. And those things that I would often in the beginning think of as insignificant details or as things that were just, you know, judgmental notions as I wrote, proved many times to be the crux of what I was trying to get out in terms of the raw emotion. And that's what I really am always after when I write. It's building a trust with the people that I interview and being able to tap into a deeper level of understanding. I do believe that circumstance is the vehicle that we have to tell a story, but it's that emotion that connects our readers to what we write. So, I mean, that's pretty much my journey as a writer in terms of what I go through. It's a creative process to me. It's something that I find great joy in when I write, but I also need to be honest with you, and I have to tell you, as we all know, right, that it's a discipline, that we have to devote the time. And so that's pretty much, I mean, I don't know if you, I can speak more, you know, to get into more detail about the subject that I'm writing, but I think I was asked to talk about my journey and the way that the research component of writing. And it's to never turn off, to always be, you know, how many of us, you know, it's like, I liken what I do to a photographer, something that I do with no training, but I love to take pictures. And it always strikes me about how beautiful the world is around us or how disturbing the world is around us. But all of these images that can be captured if someone is just willing to look at it. We have beautiful sunsets every single day, but we don't always look up to capture them. And so it's, as writers, I think we have an obligation to keep our eyes open and to never stop writing and to not be so quick to judge what we write, but to do things, which is what is so incredible about your organization, in that you have a safe place to share with one another, to develop and to cultivate great work. So thank you again for the invitation to be here. I don't know if we have any time to take questions, but I turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Koren. And I'm also unmute everyone in case there were questions. Everyone, you are now unmuted. Are there any, Holly?
Dr. Koren, when you
hold
say—
on 1 second. Rocio, hold 1 second. Let's Holly first. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
1 second. Hold on, Holly. There's something going on with her volume for some reason.
No, there I am.
Okay, there you are.
Okay, I admire you for taking the time, because I know you're busy. I worked with the school system also for a very long time, and you have to be disciplined. And I think that your idea of being a photographer and giving us the details about what went on with the employees at that school is just so dynamic. I admire you for that, and I'll buy your book.
Thank you. You know, the other thing is, Holly, that like I said, I go back to, because I have to speak my truth, which is that I don't have the background that many of you have, but I think I do have the love, which is to express myself. But I did struggle. I struggled with it very, very much so in the beginning, because I thought that I needed to create a writing style that was going to be more like ... And it was just being able to accept that my background of the way I write, the theatricality of seeing scenes and not so much chapters, I think makes the work unique. And I appreciate your feedback and your comments, and I would love to share the book with you.
Do you have a video of your play?
You know, we do have a recording of the play. So there's two entities. There's the play Defining Code Red, which was produced here and went on an extended run here in Miami-Dade. And we are in negotiation right now, trying to bring that in another form. to make it more accessible to the general public through film. And then there's the second part, which is the work of nonfiction, where the identities are not disguised, that we have disclaimers and release forms for everybody that spoke with me. And I think it's going to be quite remarkable to really see how the tragedy impacts so many different people and the long-term effects of what that can mean. I mean, if we look at shootings and we look at these mass murders in schools, they pretty much all end the same way, which is the person who inflicts the violence takes his or her own life, or their life is taken in trying to stop the act from taking place and from continuing. So I've had the interesting ability to be able to monitor and follow and converse with people who have been impacted by a tragedy for over 10 years, and to check in with them along the way. So we see that evolution. So I think it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be different.
Thank you. Hold on one second. Keitha, Rosia was next.
Dr. Koren, I understand about having to go deep into, before you sit and write, you have to go into places that are not very nice before you sit down and write, because my book is also about the Holocaust, so you do have to go into certain places that are very dark. Yeah. It would be very interesting. I heard that you said that you continue sort of a relationship with these people, and I think that's very nice of you to do. And I do believe that the more you use your own style, you have to use your own style. Someone told me a long time ago that writers can be taught, but when you write from the heart, that is much better than being taught semantics or grammar. So I agree with you. When you have to write from your heart, you don't write from only academia. So congratulations.
I agree. And I will open up to you all and tell you that at some point, and I imagine with the Holocaust, and I'm an avid, learner of Holocaust studies. It was when I was in high school, and I see Dr. Burnett two squares below me, and I know her from high school. And she was a teacher, and the Holocaust studies for me has always been a difficult subject, because I immerse myself in what I work on, and so the danger is also being able to disconnect. And so exactly. I struggled with that. I know. I'm sure when you're in, for lack of a better way of putting it, one of these dark kind of fields of study or of tone that you explore, and you have to delve deep. You also have to walk out of that, because if not, it becomes, and I'll tell you from personal experience, it can become a very dangerous game to play. When you as the writer go into that dark place, you can get stuck in it if you don't know how to have a healthy balance. But I've worked through that, and I remembered when I was an actor and I was in school at Boston University, I was in an opera, and a non-singing role in an opera called The Kaiser from Atlantis. And it is an opera that was actually from Theresienstadt, and it was stuffed in the walls of this barrack, written by the inmates. And it was the story of these inmates pleading for God to take their lives, because living was just so horrible. And they were praying that they would be able to leave this earthly world and be out of this misery. And let me tell you, living in that peace night after night was almost an entrapment. And so I learned something that then I applied to my writing, which is knowing when to walk away and knowing how to, in a healthy way, compartmentalize. And so.
Thank you, sir. I think Dr. Burnett had a question, actually, or a comment. And then Gail.
Yes, I'm glad to see you here, Dr. Koren.
It's good to see
Justin, I know it's Justin. But yes, I have a question in regards to, I know you're running for District 9, and I want to know, looking at your background and your passion just for life and to always make a change, and that's how you were in high school, because we worked on the Holocaust remembrance. But how do we translate that to have an effective policy to make positive change in Miami-Dade County? Because you know, there are state and federal laws that impact us too as well, which we are sometimes very limited.
Definitely. Well, I think it's a fantastic question. I'll start by saying, you know, because I'm a realist and I look at the world around me, as I know we all do. And I think what we see happening right now in the world is a perfect example as to why we need more people getting involved in local politics. Because the change that we want to see, and I truly believe this, is going to come from the trenches. It's going to come from here. The reason that I'm running is there is nobody else that is running for my seat that has ever worked in the public school system. And it's not a requirement, but based upon what I'm seeing happening right now, I think it's very important that we have somebody with the mindset as to how can we effectuate change at our local level, at our school level. So much of what we do as a school board is taken from federal and then to state, and then at the local level, we have to make sense of it. It's like, this is what you have, here's your budget, here's your requirements for everything from curriculum to operations, now you've got to roll it out. But I also think that we as school board members have the ability to lobby based upon the unique needs of our constituents. So I've made it my mission as I run, as I work, and I try to learn from those that are going to be impacted by decisions that I hope to make, what matters to them. District 9 is extremely diverse. It spans from the southern tip of Coral Gables, and it runs all the way through to Card Sound Road to Monroe County. I mean, it is enormous. And I'll be the first to tell you that what matters to the folks in Pinecrest is not the same issues facing Florida City. Homestead versus the Redlands, Palmetto Bay versus unincorporated Miami-Dade and the Falls. So I've made it a priority to listen. And I think that is what I would say, not just as a political candidate, but as you know, someone that I think we've known each other indirectly off and on for well, I know it's over 20 years because I know when I graduated, and so do you. But it's maintaining communication with people, and it's not losing your connection to people just because you're in an office or in a position of authority. People have to be accessible to local leaders. If not, they start to govern in a bubble. And so that is kind of the blanket approach that I would take to leadership. It would be implementing advisory committees and ensuring that we safeguard precious items that we have control over at the local level. And it's being wise enough to understand where we have that authority. For example, we are one of the few districts throughout the state that has, as an extension of our our student services division and our social sciences division, we ensure that we have a branch of support pertaining to Holocaust education and character education. And so I think that is very, very important that we continue to fund programs like that, because we've seen in the last 15, 20 years that the amount of attention that Holocaust education gets in textbooks reduces. It used to be a full chapter, then it was a sub-chapter, now it's even a paragraph within World War II. So we need someone who's willing to fight, to preserve educational topics that matter, but also the freedom to express ourselves, ability for students to take creative courses in the humanities and to safeguard arts education is very, very important.
And thank you, sir. Gail had the next question. We just have time for 2 more questions. So there's Gail, and then I think there's one more after Gail.
Well, I want to thank you for your service in both the school and in your artistic endeavors, your writing, everything. And I have to tell you, my family dated back to the 1920s with summer cottages in Sandy Hook. I have cousins who lived there. My one cousin was a mother who was a volunteer at the old Sandy Hook School, which was a one-room schoolhouse. So we go back a long time there. And of course, I live in Florida now. At the time, they asked at Christmas time when they opened the school if people would send snowflakes just to hang from the ceiling for the kids to see something beautiful.
Yeah.
And as you did, I felt compelled to send something, which I did. And it's a snowflake with all the little angels around the outside, and the teachers who died are represented as guardian angels on the snowflake. But the point I was wanting to make to you is that your work is very important. Because as soon as you said that, Sandy Hook School, you see, I got very emotional about it. I wasn't there. We go up and visit family. We drive past the new school. We drive up Riverside Road. I know the area like my palm. And there's still memorial sitting there on a fence years later.
Yeah.
I went to that church where all the funerals were held. That was my church in Newtown. So the point I'm making is we never really know and don't understand that even at this distance, this is something that is dramatically impacted my life. And luckily, all of my friends' kids were already graduated. I know they had grandchildren. They were older. So luckily, I didn't know any one of the people who were directly there. But that didn't change my own reaction. And your play probably expresses a lot of that. And so I thank you for that. And also for making me recognize my own inner feelings. I can't write about this. I haven't been able to. And everyone here knows that I write a lot of memoir and other things that involve history of my life, not just my experience. And so I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, I think that when I first started, I had a lot of reservations about invading people's space and their privacy and thinking that somehow I would awaken something and that I would make it worse. And I have to tell you, I really appreciate on a very human level, very deeply your comments, because as writers, we have the ability to ask probing questions, but we also have the ability to be compassionate in the way we record history that would otherwise never be recorded. You know, the media comes to not necessarily sensationalize, but they do a job and then they go on. But the victims, and I use this to not offend anybody, but I do believe that there are tiers of victimization of people that go through something. And you could be 10 steps removed from the incident, but it can impact you. And in the story that I've researched and I've checked in with students who were 13 years old when this happened, who are now, you know, nearing 30. And it is unbelievable to see the scars form, they toughen up, but the pain is always still going to be there. And whenever we see something else happen in the world, it kind of stirs us up on the inside. And so I appreciate your sentiment tonight. I just think that all of us should never be afraid of our subjects. We should, the worst thing that can happen is that people don't want to talk. But you know, what I was so amazed with was the appreciation and the gratitude where people said, you know, thank you for listening to me. I've never spoken to a therapist. I never pretended to be something that I'm not. I simply was a listening ear who was willing to record somebody else's story.
Dr. Koren, thank you so much. And colleagues, I know you may have more questions, but due to the sake of time, we need to continue with the agenda. Dr. Koren, my understanding is that you will be part of our installation components. And so I'm going to mute all mics first and ask that Beverly, Jeff, and Connie come on, and John as well. Once I mute everyone, count 20 seconds. And I want those individuals to unmute their mics so that they can facilitate the next component. Dr. Koren, just sit tight, okay?
Okay.
Again, those who need to unmute their mics are Dr. Koren, of course, Connie, Jonathan, Beverly, and Jeff. I think those are the ones for now. If there's anyone else, you can self-identify. Those of you who wish to speak, who need to speak, can unmute now.
I would just like to say for one moment, so thank you, Dr. Koren. I thought you were amazing when I met you because of your passion for your students and your passion for education. But today, we got a really great look into you as a person, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you all for having me and for listening. It does mean a lot. I appreciate it.
Good. Jonathan, did you, we're going to do this on Zoom. This is so funny. Jeff, do you have the award for Dr. Koren? I just want to make sure we do this really fast for him before we move on. I don't know if
Jeff is unmuted.
Is Jeff on?
Yes, he's there.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know, by the end, I just wanted to make sure you have everything, so at the end that we can go have everything we need. And with that, we'll probably call on Connie first. I don't know. Wait a minute. I'm back up. I'm sorry. So Justin will start the. Yes, I'm sorry. Justin will start the installation process. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. This is the exciting part. Will the outgoing officers please raise your right hand? Your term of office ends on June the 30th, and the members of the South Florida Writers Association thank you for your dedication in performing your duties throughout the past year. You are hereby discharged from all further duties and responsibilities as officers of the South Florida Writers Association. Now we're going to proceed to the installation of officers. Will the newly elected officers please raise your right hand? I see many of the same hands going up, which is a good thing. Honored officers, you have been chosen by your fellow members to be the leaders of the South Florida Writers Association. This is a high honor that involves great responsibility, as you will be expected to plan and execute innovative new programs and activities governing the conduct and progress of the South Florida Writers Association. Your actions throughout the next year will determine the success and the outcome of the association. Therefore, I urge you to carry out the duties of your respective offices with the highest standards in mind, so that the objectives of the South Florida Writers Association are realized. Keep your vision elevated and always looking clearly toward the continued progress through selfless service. As directors, you are members of the executive board. Your attendance at meetings is imperative for you to represent the interest of the membership. You will initiate recommendations to the membership for future growth and for enhancement of the association. You'll foster and encourage participation of members, and you will nurture and aid the development of those members who indicate leadership potential. You shall be guided in all of your activities by the highest ideals for which the association stands, and be aware of your commitment to yourselves, to the profession, and of course to the community. Will you fulfill the responsibilities of your offices to the best of your ability and in accordance with the constitutional documents of this association? If so, you will say, I will.
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 Okay. Now, I heard the nomination for president is in fact Beverly. Did Beverly win?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, because I have to fill in the name on my script here. So I don't want to get that part wrong, and I was in the waiting room when you guys voted.
Thank you.
Okay. Beverly,
I know.
Beverly, as president, you must provide decisive leadership, as I know you have in the past, and you will continue to guarantee the success of your association, to keep an open mind, to nurture future growth, to project the South in the business community, and to encourage your members to reach their fullest potential. Beverly, your gavel is a symbol of the power and the authority given to you by the membership. Use it wisely and with restraint. You are a member of a team as well as a leader. And a team is more than a collection of people. It is an emotional force rooted in the feelings and the thoughts and the actions of all of the members, with the common goal of achievement, of sharing, and of mutual support. I urge you to work with your team members to create a healthy and dynamic association of which everyone will be proud. Will you, as president, accept the challenge and perform your duties to the best of your abilities? Fantastic. Now to all the officers. Will all the officers please repeat after me and recite the following pledge? And I'll break it down for you so we can hear you say it with me. I do solemnly pledge.
I do solemnly pledge
that I will faithfully execute the office
that I will
faithfully execute the office
of which I have been elected to.
Of which I have been elected to.
And that I will, to the best of my ability,
and I will, to the best of my ability,
support the president,
support the president,
fellow officers and members,
fellow officers and members,
and that I will uphold the Constitution and bylaws.
I will uphold the Constitution and bylaws
of the South Florida Writers Association.
Of the South Florida Writers Association.
That was pretty good. Honored officers, I declare you the installed officers of the South Florida Writers Association. And to all the members,
Thank you so much.
To all the members,
Thank you.
The officers that you have chosen are now officially installed. And since you have entrusted them to this responsibility of leadership, it now becomes your duty to wholeheartedly support them. Please indicate your willingness to support and accept your responsibilities as members by giving your officers a hearty round of applause.
Hey.
And thank you all for affording me the opportunity to swear you in. This is probably the coolest thing I have ever done on Zoom. And I'm averaging about like 6 meetings a day. So I thank you for allowing me for the first time ever to be creative on Zoom. That was pretty fun. Thank you.
And thank you.
It was our pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Connie.
Bless you and thank you. Okay, and now it is my absolute privilege and pleasure to present the Rosewood Clock to our outgoing president, who's also our incoming president, Beverly Velocity Haig. And the inscription on this beautiful clock, we will just know that this is going to you. This says, Mr. President, of course, 2019-2020, with gratitude for your outstanding leadership, dedicated service, and valuable contributions to the success of the South Florida Writers Association. Every blessing on your journey ahead, Beverly.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's for you.
Connie, can you
everybody,
it's beautiful.
Put it up a little higher at shoulder
I'm
length.
crying. Okay, so let me get that.
It's so beautiful.
Okay,
Thank you.
now, you may think you see my name, but you really don't. Back to the Future from 2015 to 2020.
That's funny.
Is that good? Okay. Here's
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you,
Oh
Dr.
my goodness. Thank you. I can't. Are you calling on me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm going to do my speech and I'm going to hope I don't cry, but you know I will. To Dr. Koren, my husband Bill, our honored board of directors, members, family, and guests. It is with, can't do it. It's with immense gratitude that I accept the position as president of the South Florida Writers Association for a third term. Thank you for the faith and the trust that you have bestowed on me. I got this. Over the last 2 years, we have grown as an organization and spearheaded many new and exciting opportunities for our members to showcase their work. But it is more than that. As you can see, I have such a passion for this organization. And it's all it represents, a safe haven and a place for our fellowship. I'm sorry, a safe place of fellowship for all those who choose to write. Being president of such a prestigious association where there is so much talent and vigor means constantly being on the lookout for better ways to attract and keep new members, as well as offer our longtime members a reason to stay. Through the dedication and hard work of our amazing board of directors, we have accomplished many things over the last 2 years. We unveiled a more robust website, a new digital presence, easy to read modules you can explore, see what we're up to, pay securely for events, and renew your membership. And due to the recent pandemic, we have had to step up our game and introduce our first ever virtual meetings and our author showcase series where our members can still take advantage of tremendous exposure and express themselves and their work better. Thanks to all of our efforts and the efforts of this membership, we have over $15,000 in revenue to help us bring you even more innovative, creative, and exciting programs. These will include new critique groups and writing and in technology and digital branding and writing for publication. We will also introduce website training, including how to embed video inside your ebook. My vision for the South Florida Writers Association is to continue to grow our organization, use our new social media platforms, our Facebook page, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn to enhance our presence within the writing community and beyond. We will continue to offer, new and innovative ways to help you learn and grow. With the opportunities and challenges that come with my acceptance to serve us all, I know that my journey would not be a smooth one if I had to do it alone. All we are and all we do here at the South Florida Writers Association depends heavily on the hard work and efforts of our board of directors. So thank you. You are the inspiration and the backbone of how we continue to extend the great initiatives we offer our members. And to our members and guests, we want to encourage and invite you to get more involved with the South Florida Writers Association. Get on a committee or participate in the Downtown Art Days in September, if we're allowed to go, I don't know, or work in our booth at the Miami Book Fair. You can help promote our annual Mango Writers Conference or even run for a position on the board. We hope you will take full advantage of all our programs, groups, poetry readings, writing contests, and guest speakers. The South Florida Writers Association belongs to you. Let us help you get the most out of it through friendship and fellowship. And I thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Beverly.
Thank you.
Thanks, Beverly.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. The whole association is indeed my pleasure. Thank you. Okay. Billy, is it time for me to present my plaques?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. First, I'm going to hold them up so you can all see them. Jeffrey, do you have the award for Dr. Koren? There it is. Okay. Dr. Koren, if we were normally, we would all be surrounding you. We are offering you a free membership to our organization for 1 year. So I hope you'll write your book and get it to all of us. We're all here for you because once you become a member of the South Florida Writers Association, this entire organization will embrace you and your writing. It's a wonderful place to be. And I appreciate you so much for being here and for all you do in this community for our schools and for our children. We can't thank you enough. I'll stop crying now. Okay. Where is Dr. Steve? Is he on the call still?
Yes.
Woo! Wookie here. I didn't want to take them out of their beautiful plastic because I don't have gloves on. So this is to Steve Leibowitz for outstanding contributions, accomplishments, and dedicated service for more than 20 years with the South Florida Writers Association. So there you are. Take a picture, somebody. Here we go.
Hold on 1 second.
Thank you. Look at that, how beautiful. Thank you so much, Steve, for everything.
Nice.
Everything. I hope you stay a member for 100 more years.
Thank you, Dr. Steve.
Next up, yes, thank you. I can't thank you enough for all you have done for this organization. Thank you. Next is to Dr. Billy Jones, who I won't stop crying until he says he'll stay. But Billy, you are amazing. And I can't thank you enough for everything you have brought to this organization. I know you're staying on as a member, but you were our board of directors, website director. When you came on, we really needed your help. You stepped up to the plate, and what we have now is totally awesome. And it's because of you. And all these virtual meetings that we're doing, Billy is hosting them for us. And it's just amazing how he came through, and even our author showcase, it's totally amazing. I really, really appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wait. Glenn Patron, is he, I don't know if Glenn's on the line. Glenn, are you here?
I don't see him on the rock.
Okay. Glenn served with us for 1 year as a director at large. He helped a great deal with the Miami Book Fair last year, and we're really sorry to see him be off the board this year because he has really brought a lot. And I'll call him personally and thank him. And to board members and board members that are returning, I appreciate everything you do. You don't even know. Sometimes we go late into the night. The members they see everything that comes out of this, but they don't see the diligence, the hard work, the compassion that everyone has, their abilities. They lend their talents. It is the most incredible organization I have ever sat on the board or been president of, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you. Thank you. It's a round of applause for our entire board of directors and all our members, our guests, our families, everybody who puts up with everything that we do. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I set my program down. Billy, where are we at with the program? Are we good?
I think we're good. We are good, and that pretty much completes our—
Look at that, we got it on time.
We got through it. Yes, we did. A few minutes over, but
we do, I think we need, it's never over. We are going to have a short board meeting after this meeting is over with. Billy, do you need everyone to relog back in? Give them 10 minutes break?
No, not necessarily. They just leave. They stay in the queue. The room remains. But if you are adjourning at this time, we can formally adjourn this segment. Just as a friendly reminder, thank you again for everyone, especially to our esteemed guest, Dr. Koren.
Yes.
Testing your candidacy and your campaign for an incredible role in our community, and to all of our members as well. these sessions that we have, you know, I did record as such our conversation in general. So Dr. Koren, you will forever memorialize with us for your contribution.
Yes.
We will make that available. We'll make this segment available to those who wishes to watch.
Great, thank you. We welcome everyone to sit in on our board meetings every time we have them. And I think we'll take just a few seconds here. Anyone who would like to stay is welcome to stay. And that we're not going to have a very long board meeting because I've held everybody here a long time today. So take a few minutes break, come back, and we're going to start. What time is it now?
We'll start at
12:40.
12:45.
That's it. 12:45. We'll see you all back here. Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
You take care.
Oh wait. Woo! I can hear it. Woo!
I hear it.
Isn't she beautiful? Look at
Careful.
She's all gussied up too. That's what I was doing at 2 o'clock in the morning, making sure she was spiffy. Where's Madeline? Thank you, Madeline, for our after midnight conversation. I'm telling you, the people on this board, for anyone who is not on the board that's on this call, I'm telling you, this board is awesome. We take care of one another. We have each other